So, Senator, just to ask the hardest question of all in some ways, if we can attribute attacks to Russia on the United States or other NATO allies, should the United States and its partners respond in kind? A different way to put that is, should we consider cyber attacks as military attacks within the framework of our NATO commitment? Article 5 attacks where we're committed to help defend each other as if we were hit if it's one of our NATO allies. What do you think?
David, I absolutely believe that a cyber attack could constitute an Article 5 violation. I gave you the example earlier of an attack against Ukraine bleeding into Poland, a NATO nation, or even hitting and hurting NATO troops. Number one, there's been a reason, as you know, David, again, you know more about this longer than I, but that we have not had a tit-for-tat cyber escalation policy. We have always reserved the right to respond to a cyber attack in another domain, kinetic or otherwise. And the reason for that is, quite honestly, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of cyber weapons. The Russians have the same. These can be extraordinarily destructive. And if you get into the cyber escalation, you don't know where it would end. You don't really know, if you let a piece of malware out there that's got a worm in it, where it may end up, particularly if it's not a single piece of malware, but hundreds or potentially thousands of pieces of malware released simultaneously. And I think hopefully the audience knows, there was something called the NotPetya attack back in 2017, Russia against Ukraine. It spread across the West, shut down and cost billions of dollars for the damage, even shut down the English healthcare system for a while, even responded back and hit Russian systems. So those kind of pieces of malware, once they're out in the wild, you don't know where they end up. So should we keep all our capabilities on the table? Should we be prepared to use those capabilities? Absolutely, yes. I don't believe, though, that we should pre-commit on those until we see what kind of Russian activities take place here. This has been a realm of hypothetical questions for years. The challenge is, it could become real a lot sooner. And when this crisis passes, I do think we need, on an international basis, to say, you take down a healthcare system, and whether it's a cyber criminal or a government, we're going to have a lower attribution level, and we're going to hold you responsible. There needs to be the filling out of the equivalent of a cyber Geneva Convention rules of the road here, not only in terms of cyber crimes, but as we see now in terms of using these tools in the acts of war.